And welcome to episode number 4. If you made it this far, congratulations. And as we sit here, we're looking at the Conrail RS11 repaint. An excellent repaint sitting on the horseshoe curve map. So, sit back, relax, and join me in the... I must say, I was completely caught off guard when I started the research for the Conrail RS11. I found a roster board on the internet that distinguished over 380 RS11s were owned and operated by Conrail. Now, again, most of these were all part of the merger, which took place in 1976, when the U.S. federal government came in and basically said that your bankrupt lines need to merge into one group. Now, this conglomeration incorporated the New York Central, the Erie Lackawanna, the Penn Central, and many other railroads in that region, including like the Lehigh Valley, the Central Vermont, and a few other odds and ends railroads that we all probably know. Now, this consisted of the bulk of Alco's RS11 production, which was only 425. Now, 380 RS11s was quite a feat, I must say. But it also made sense because the majority of the Alco RS11s were East Coast railroads, and they did function very well for those railroads. In fact, as mainline power, as we see here, as the train's pulling out of Gazette headed to the Horseshoe Curve. Now, more often than not, just like with the D&H, as we'll look at later in this series, the D&H would couple up its road switchers. And since the RS11 was considered a road switcher but also a mainline operator power, you would see these lash-ups quite often, 4 and 5, in some cases with even the GP9 and the GP7, which were also considered road switchers, but they were also used as mainline power as they started to phase out the F7s and E units at the time. Now, even though generally the E units were meant for passenger, they were used for freight service in some cases. So with that profit and turnover to private investors from government control, basically the railroad began to heavily invest in road power and improvements in their track engines. This continued up until the period where they got the SD60s, the SD60 wide cab, and even got some SD70 ACEs. Now, Conrail existed up until 1999 when it was finally broken apart and given to Norfolk Southern and CSX. Now, looking at this Conrail repaint, it really is a decently quality repaint, and it sets the kind of standard for almost all the remainder of the repaints, except for a couple that we'll review down the line, like we talked about, like the D&H and also the Missouri Pacific. It sports basically a standard flat, darker, but filtered out paint, which allows for the detail to stand forward. It actually has painted white handrails, which is a nice detail, and in some cases they actually never did get painted like that, or they were so dirty that you couldn't see it. Conrail had the same plague that all the railroads in that region had, which was that they didn't make a lot of money until they started consolidating all their assets. In fact, it wasn't until 1986, the beginning of the 1980s, that Conrail began to really make profit and then was turned over to private investors in 1987. Now, this repaint really will fit in with your Conrail power repaints and other combinations, and really sits out and really puts itself in the proper place and doesn't have too many different bright colors. Well, I hope you enjoyed this close look at the Conrail repaint, and I hope you join me next time on the